And there's more on Isaac Matache's evidence on our website, gbc.gi/radio. The latest Royal Navy ship to be using the facilities on the Rock is HMS Diamond, which was here ahead of a 6.5-month deployment to the Gulf. The ship's commanding officer and the crew say they're looking forward to the task at hand and doing what the Royal Navy does best, providing a resilient and adaptable UK military presence, ensuring security and stability wherever the UK has an interest.
The visit by Diamond forms part of the British government's stated policy to have more Royal Navy ships using the Rock's naval base. But apart from the facilities Gibraltar has to offer, it affords a crew some rest and relaxation in sunny weather, with Diamond also carrying out training exercises in the bay. These begun this morning.
That's correct, yes. What we're going to do is use the fantastic facilities that are available here in Gibraltar with a permanent joint operating base, and we'll be conducting exercises and trainings for the next 4 or 5 days just to the east of the territory in the exercise areas, using some of the facilities that are here to conduct training in operations that we're likely to encounter on our deployment, such as maritime security, counter-piracy, counter-drugs, and any of those sort of tasks that we are likely to encounter over the next 6.5 months.
What would happen if during the exercise you came across a real-life scenario, for example, drug smuggling?
Well, HMS Diamond is part of the Royal Navy's versatile and agile team, and as such we are highly trained in all those types of evolutions and scenarios, and if one were to happen for real whilst we're here in the areas, then we would of course respond to that and take action as necessary in which to do so.
The elephant in the room, or in this case a bridge, could be the current tensions between the British government and Spain and Guardia Civil incursions into British Gibraltar territorial waters. HMS Diamond, the third of 6 Type 45 destroyers, is one of the most sophisticated warships in the world. So what would happen if she were to come across a Guardia Civil vessel during her training?
Well, HMS Diamond is very much here for, as I say, rest and recuperation for my ship's company, and to use the facilities that are available here in Gibraltar and in the territory. So that's very much why HMS Diamond is here. The Gibraltar Squadron are of course permanently based here, and it's very much their day-to-day business to deal with any of those types of incursions as you described. But Diamond are here to conduct training and to rest my crew at the start of a 6.5-month deployment.
In times of tension, not to be seen as a flexing of muscles at all?
Well, we're versatile and agile, so we're always ready to take action as may be required.
This is not Diamond's first visit to the Rock, and neither is it a first for her commanding officer. Commander Andy Ingham has visited Gibraltar several times with the Royal Navy, but first came to the Rock in the early 90s for a cadet camp. He has fond memories.
I remember in particular I was given a £5 Gibraltar coin as change in a shop that I went into, which of course you don't get back in the United Kingdom. So I was very proud to receive a £5 coin, and I still have it today back at home. I keep it.
Have you noticed a change in the relationship between the locals and the crew from your ship and Royal Navy personnel visiting the Rock?
I think certainly every time that I've visited Gibraltar and the territory, the local people have always been very welcoming indeed. And my ship's company have experienced that again on this occasion, and they've been enjoying both the local atmosphere and some of the facilities that are on offer. Some have been up to the Rock, some have just been in the local town around the restaurants and the bars. So every time I've been to Gibraltar, the locals have always been very welcoming, and it's no different on this occasion.
For the ship's commanding officer, it's an honour to be in command of Diamond and an honour to command the crew of 250 men and women. It's the people, he says, who make the ship.
And we'll be back with more of this week's news after the break. Welcome back. Will Spanish fishermen have to apply for a licence in Gibraltar? The question is being asked by the leader of the opposition, who renewed his call for the government to state whether Spanish fishermen wishing to fish in British Gibraltar territorial waters with nets will have to apply for a licence in Gibraltar. Jonathan Scott asked Daniel Feetham for his take on the present situation.
Well, what we are is that the government changed the Nature Protection Act last year in order to allow for secondary legislation, for regulations to be introduced that would effectively allow Spanish fishermen to fish with EU-compliant nets. Now, the issue is not whether Spanish fishermen will be able to fish, because they've already made the decision. It's whether Spanish fishermen will have to apply for a licence in order to do so here in Gibraltar. And I've been pressing the government to come clean on that and to give a straight answer to a straight question: will they have to apply for a licence in Gibraltar? And he's refused to provide me with that answer.
You have this Privy Council style of briefing with the Chief Minister. Has he indicated to you what he intends to do on this?
Well, look, the exchange of information was all well and good for as long as we had a ceasefire in the months of, I think it was August and September. As soon as we resumed political exchanges, that a briefing, Privy Council briefing, ceased. Even if he had provided me with information in relation to this, of course I'm not at liberty to disclose that because it's on Privy Council terms, and I'm certainly not going to make public or give an indication as to whether he has already provided me with the answer or not. The situation is the public is entitled to know.
If you were Chief Minister today, would you require Spanish fishermen to apply for a licence here?
Well, I would sit down with a Spanish fisherman, I would discuss it. For me, it's not, as far as I'm concerned, the question of applying for a licence in Gibraltar is not a die-in-the-ditch issue for me. I mean, what I think that Gibraltar needs to do is to just put it all behind us and to move on. And therefore, if the government has decided not to require Spanish fishermen to apply for a licence in Gibraltar, we will support the government. But the government needs to come clean. It's got to be honest with the electorate. And what it can't do is just duck and dive in relation to this particular issue and, delaying the evil day, because there will be criticism from us. Because although we will support it, because, it may well be what we would have done, we will support it because we believe that it's in the best interest of Gibraltar to put everything behind us and move on. We are entitled to actually say to the government, well, hang on a minute, what's it all been for? Why did you provoke this crisis in the first place? Why didn't you change the law 2 years ago? Because the only reason for the delay could have been that you wanted to take advice from experts, but they've advised, and they haven't advised that you change the law. So what it's all been for, and why the delay? And now come clean with the electorate and tell them what it is that you intend to do, and take any criticism in the chin.
This week saw local athletes celebrated at the annual GBC Sports Awards. The event took place at Bruno's restaurant in Ocean Village, and despite technical difficulties, the show went out on air on GBC television an hour later than scheduled.
The GBC Sports Awards aim is to celebrate remarkable sporting achievements on the Rock and to honour those who've really gone that extra mile. 2013 was a busy year for Gibraltar. 24 teams and athletes were selected for nomination, with thousands of people voting for their favourites. Presented by GBC's Paul Grant and Jonathan Scott, Bruno's restaurant was full to the brim of spectators, including the Governor Benjamin Dutton, the Chief Minister, MPs and members of Gibraltar's sporting community.
I have something of an understanding of just how much work is required by an athlete to get to this level. And so I must add my congratulations to all those we've heard this evening.
What an inspiration it is to see what we've seen on our screens. What village, town or city of 30,000 people could achieve what this small nation of ours achieves in sport?
Colin Bensathon took the prize for senior individual for his achievements in swimming. He brought home a silver and bronze medal from the Island Games in Bermuda last year.
I think I can speak for all of the swimmers. We focus on ourselves. We just target national records, personal bests, and then the rest, it's sometimes it happens for you, sometimes it doesn't.
The Minister with responsibility for sport, Stephen Leonardis, was also present.
It's an honour for me to be the Minister for Sports. As a sportsman myself, I'm so proud to see so many young people and the participation level that we have in Gibraltar.
He presented the Junior Sports Personality Award that went to 14-year-old chess player Stephen Watley, who competed in the British Chess Championship and won the Under-14 section in the Gibraltar Junior Chess Festival.
Amazing. I mean, I really didn't expect this. I've been in this competition for 4 years, and it's such an honour every time to be shortlisted.
The Gibraltar triathlon team took the prize for senior team. They won gold in Bermuda at last year's Island Games.
We all put in endless hours in the pool, even more hours cycling, and as much as we could running as well. So it was really hard trying to compete on all three sports and then trying to get it all together under the triathlon umbrella.
And the junior team award was given to rowers Colin Tester and Jesse Borge. They won gold at the British Championships.
Just knowing that all of those hours that we sacrificed training, giving up our summer, has paid off, and this sums it all up.
And of course, it was an extremely important year for the Gibraltar Football Association. Their Team 54 campaign reached over 100 million people. And after years of perseverance, the GFA was accepted into UEFA. They received recognition last night for their efforts and achievements with a special presentation showcasing their highlights in 2013.
As you know, we lobbied the whole of Europe to get their votes. We did that, and now it's positive football work, and we're all very excited where we are, looking forward to our next internationals, still on a high with the Slovakia result, and it's all systems go.
And a special award went to Special Olympics Gibraltar. The organisation's oath is "Let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt." It's a movement that allows local Special Olympics athletes to travel the world, compete, build character and have fun.
Very happy and I'm glad we especially got for this trophy. So it'd be very good for them.
It changes my life forever, me in the Special Olympics. I love it.
And last but certainly not least, Ernest Victory took the Lifetime Achievement Award for his accomplishments in boxing. He started boxing in 1952 and is now the head coach in Gibraltar's Amateur Boxing Association. A tribute was put together by his family and his fighters, and the surprise clearly moved the former professional boxer.
Well, that's been all my life, and you get really excited when you see things like that. What can I say? I would go through it again if I was born again,
So apart from a few technical hiccups at the beginning of the night, the show is a success, with £1,500 raised for the GBC Open Day from the 24 premium phone numbers provided by Gib Telecom. And with 2013's awards done and dusted, we've got an action-packed 2014 to look forward to.
A local man was this week found not guilty of possession with intent to supply over 18 grams of amphetamine in a case dating back to September 2012. The trial of Stephen Yeo of Tankerville House took place in the Supreme Court.
Stephen Yeo had already pleaded guilty to possession of the amphetamine and to a further count of possession of just under 2 grams of herbal cannabis. The investigating officers of the Royal Gibraltar Police gave evidence in response to questioning from Crown Prosecutor Graysan Gear and Defence Counsel Suresh Madani. The jury of 9 heard how the RGP's drug squad obtained a search warrant for Mr. Yeo's flat, with some packets of amphetamine found in the freezer so as to prevent evaporation. In his closing speech, Mr. Matani argued that out of a checklist of telltale signs of supply police look for, there were only 2, the quantity of the drugs and a set of digital scales. The defendant, he said, maintained that he had bought a larger amount because it was proportionately cheaper, and used the scales to measure what he'd bought for his own consumption. The jury retired for just over half an hour before returning a unanimous verdict of not guilty. Mr. Justice Barrington Black presided over the trial. A pre-sentencing report has been requested on the 2 counts of possession, with the case adjourned till the 13th of March.
Also this week, Equality Rights Group welcomed the Chief Minister's pledge to offer asylum to a limited number of Syrian refugees in Gibraltar. Stephen Gonzalez was appointed Communications Manager with the Gibraltar Football Association, and X Factor 2012 winner James Arthur was announced as the first act to be performing at the Gibraltar Music Festival this year. For the rest of this week's news, you can head over to our website, gbc.gi/news. Don't forget to tune into Radio Gibraltar and GBC Television, of course, throughout the week for the very latest local news. And you can also follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Thank you very much for watching. From the team, good night.